Hello and a very warm welcome to this special conversation. Well, the entire country is busy celebrating the Prime Minister's birthday. There have been various slogans, there have been various campaign themes which have been spoken about. But what is it that Narendra Modi, as he turns 74, really brings on the table? And how do we look at his long, illustrious political career? With me, someone who's known Prime Minister for a very, very long time, former Central Information Commissioner, well known journalist, author, Uday Mahurkar joining us live on Squirrels. Warm welcome, Uday bhai.
Thank you so much.
Let me begin by asking you, Uday bhai, Prime Minister has been in public life, as a constitutional post holder, first as a Chief Minister, then as a Prime Minister, right since 2001. 25 years is a long time in any politician's journey. Help me understand
Absolutely.
What is it about Modi that makes him go on and on and on, despite all the criticism which is mounted against him?
You see, you have to understand one thing, that this country, you have to go into the background. This country, in spite of having given Pakistan to Muslims of this country, continue to practice a policy of Muslim appeasement in politics. We don't go into the reasons, Secondly, I think after the advent of Mrs. Gandhi, there was a thing called corruption which really erupted. Corruption, then what you call politics of ji hujuri, yes man politics, These things really ate into our systems, particularly governance and politics also. And thereafter, Modi's emergence in Gujarat, of course, it was in it was in a situation which was controversial for quite some time, made controversial by his opponents rather, But thereafter, the way he gave example of his administrative abilities after 2003, after the 2002 riots, you see, his initial rise was because of the Hindutva image which he got because of the 2002 Gujarat riots. But thereafter, he has worked very hard to show his skills. And you see, I have seen him very closely as a man in the organization, in the BJP, correct? So he had a certain way of doing things, I mean, he had a long vision. He was a great planner. And he was a great executioner. So one who has vision, one who has planning capacity and capacity to execute is destined to be a great man.
But Uday,
and that he has demonstrated in ample measure.
But I often see Uday bhai,
and over and above that, Bhupendra, before I complete.
Yes, sure.
You see, before over and above that, this politics of Muslim appeasement which everybody was practicing. I am talking about the non-BJP parties, having an iftar party, wearing caps. You see, I am from Gwalior, where there was an atmosphere of real Hindu-Muslim unity. There are Muslim cooks whose food we could eat, which was not the case in Mewar, for example. In Mewar, Muslim cooks couldn't serve food to Rajputs. But we Maratha Rajputs, Marathas from Gwalior, we were used to having food cooked by Muslims, correct? Nobody ever did. Nobody ever tried to make me or my father wear a cap, Muslim cap, So Muslim cap was a symbol of Muslim appeasement, which Modi did not wear even a single time.
But tell me, is that not confusing?
Free from Muslim appeasement.
No, but Uday bhai, that's my point. Don't you think that ends up sort of contradicting or diluting the image of Modi as a successful administrator, as someone who believes in free market politics and free market economics? If we only look at Narendra Modi as a person who brought an end to the politics of what you described to be minority appeasement or Muslim appeasement, would that lens of Modi leading to an end of Muslim appeasement, does that not dilute his image as an administrator?
I don't think so. The way Hindus have been denied what were their due after 1947 is an example which is not to be found anywhere in the world. Just imagine Muslim League snatching away 1/5 of this country, from us in the name of Islam. And then Indian Hindus of this country not getting back Ayodhya, Mathura, symbols of Muslim iconoclasm, symbols of medieval vandalism, against the
Hmm.
Hindus.
Hmm.
So I don't. He had to correct that. Otherwise, he would not have attained this image. You see, Hindus are basically not any other religion. But this whole thing of Muslim appeasement, see Article 30. Article 30, if a Muslim floats a school under the minority law, he can hire of course, government aided school, He can hire a Maulvi to teach Quran. But same is not applicable to a government aided school run by a Hindu. He can't hire a Pandit to teach Gita,
So what is more important?
So,
But that's the point. You see, look at, I've asked you two questions so far, and look at how much time we've spent with by only looking at him through the prism of what he's done for let's say consolidation of Hindus or putting an end to Muslim appeasement. That's the point I'm trying to make. If the prime minister has to make a mark on the global stage, and he clearly wants India to be a Vishwaguru, he wants his legacy to be recognized on the global map. If we only and only look at him as the person who defeated Muslim appeasement, are we being fair to the legacy, to his performance as a public administrator?
no. He is a true secular in that sense. He is adhering to true secularism. You see his policies. You see, he has disbanded the Muslim minority affairs ministry. He had every right to disband it. It was brought by UPA. Correct? But
Right.
country should know that the work of minority affairs ministry of Narendra Modi government or the UPA government. Muslims have been greater beneficiaries of good governance under Modi than UPA or Congress. So I think that is more important. He is not discriminating in governance, between Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs or Parsis. I think that is more important.
So the commentary which goes around around the prime minister, and immediately after the Lok Sabha results were declared, I was in conversation with Zafar Sareshwala, also one of the the original sort of fanboys of the prime minister. And Mr. Zafar Sareshwala made it very clear, who thought that this right-wing social media army, often described as a troll army, today has become an albatross around Narendra Modi's neck. Because the accusation against the prime minister is that despite all the things that you say he has done, he's still not done enough for Hindus. So is the prime minister only and only therefore going to be judged on the basis of what he's done for the majority community?
No. I don't agree with the trolling army as such. Let us look at it in a historical perspective. Why these trolling armies have erupted? They erupted because the country has seen 6 decades of Muslim appeasement in this country, the worst kind of Muslim appeasement. So it is an reaction, overreaction. Certainly it's an overreaction, and that trolling army is trolling is certainly sometimes giving a negative image to the prime minister. I do agree with you. I do agree with you partially. But then you have to understand the nature of this trolling army. This trolling army cannot be compared with the anti-Hindus of the other side. They are radical Islamists. They are anti-nationals. Our Hindu trolling armies are not anti-nationals. They are overreacting. And because of, another thing which you cannot forget is that because of Muslim appeasement policies of the Congress, there is a burgeoning Wahhabi movement in this country. The Deobandi movement is a Wahhabi movement. Deoband Tabligh Jamaat. So now, you see, for example, when India got independent, the number of Wahhabis vis-a-vis Sufis were 10-15%. Today, they are almost 50%. They have converted Sufis into Wahhabis.
So what's next? What's next in brand Modi, Uday bhai? The entire country, all of us in the media, we've been looking at it. Can the prime minister repackage himself? The BJP has not got the Lok Sabha majority mark this time. There's Nitish Kumar, there's Chandrababu Naidu. Do you anticipate changes in the prime minister's approach? Do you think someone like Narendra Modi, who in his entire political life has only played everything on the front foot, he's been a very aggressive politician so far in his think he needs to change his colors a bit now?
No. You see, largely he's on track right now, and I think with his one nation, one election thing, I think he's finding his grooves. The way he did before the 2024 elections. But two things I want to point out, which I've been pointing out from day one after the 2024 election results. You see, this overuse of agencies against opposition parties only, and taking tainted people inside the party and closing cases against them are the two big reasons which affected the image of BJP leadership. It doesn't include the Prime Minister alone, the entire BJP leadership.
Right.
You get my point? So I think on that point, they have to rethink. Because of this image of arrogance, there was no arrogance. The Prime Minister has been most approachable with the common masses. The way he has interacted with the common masses, I think no other Prime Minister, maybe Nehru did to some extent. I think he has overtaken even Nehru, in terms of his direct interaction with the people. So there is no arrogance as such on his part. But these two things on the part of BJP leadership and his government gave the image of arrogance to the entire BJP leadership.
Okay.
So I think there is some correction needed there, because you see, it was like BJP leadership had a armor of credibility till here, correct? So it dented the armor of credibility. These two things.
Okay.
Overuse of agencies against opposition parties only, and two, taking tainted people inside the party and closing cases against them.
So do you think that the Prime Minister, therefore that's the point I'm making.
This affected in many ways. One, it disenthused the RSS and BJP workers.
Right.
Correct? Then it disenthused the 2014 mandate, Bhupendra. The 2014 mandate was on two counts. One was for good governance, where Mr. Modi and the entire government have done a wonderful job. People are finding fault with his economic policies. I think largely they have been in place. He has laid foundation of future Bharat. The way he has revised laws, modified laws, brought new laws, new policies, infrastructure development has been phenomenal. You see, correct. So the verdict was not on governance as such, I think.
But does he change his colors? Because he clearly needs to change his colors. And so far, since the 4th of June, the BJP still does not have a national president. We don't know when that president will be chosen. There is no word on that front. The shape of the union cabinet pretty much remains the same. The aggression which was being shown by the agencies against the opposition leaders, well, certainly has come down, given the fact that the Supreme Court has come down, all guns blazing, against the agencies. Look at what the court said. Justice Boya saying CBI is still like a caged parrot. Their perception matters. Therefore, do you think that Narendra Modi can really change his colors at this stage? Can he change his approach? Can he change his style?
No, he can. He has taken up these challenges in the past also, I think he will. I mean, let him settle down, It's only 3 or 4 months now. Okay. But I think a clear signal has to be sent on these two counts.
Okay.
So what will happen that you see, the 2014 mandate was for two things, which I think the BJP leadership could not fathom or forgot. One was good governance, where I truly done a wonderful job.
Right.
Correct. And on national security, has done a wonderful job. On foreign relations, he has done a super job. Correct.
Right.
So now, in spite of that, he is getting less seats, and these are the only two factors which have affected,
Okay.
Correct?
Then final question.
Let me finish. The 2014 mandate was on two counts. One was good governance, and second was bringing back lost values in politics. That is where the BJP government has failed.
Okay. Final question. I get your point.
The way UPA was using agencies. If the BJP starts doing the same thing, then people certainly are going to think about it.
Correct.
Yes,
So
of course.
therefore,
So
I want to
on the
ask you.
second count, on the second count, which is restoring lost values in politics, I think BJP has to send very clear signals.
Okay, fair enough. Last question then. When in 2014, when Narendra Modi became the prime minister, there was much buzz about a Margdarshak Mandal, about a so-called retirement age for politicians. 74, the prime minister stood now. Do you anticipate Narendra Modi following his own created tradition of retiring at the age of 75? Does the word retirement exist in Narendra Modi's dictionary?
You see, uh, Narendra Modi's future, nobody can predict. He is the most unpredictable person. He has shown it himself. But I think he will apply this principle. I think.
You think he will
I,
apply this principle? That's a big headline you're giving.
He can.
You think Uday bhai, so let me ask you, you are someone who's followed Narendra Modi's trajectory so closely. You are making it very clear to our viewers that in your opinion, Prime Minister at the age of 75, which will be next year, you think it's entirely in the realm of possibilities that the Prime Minister decides to move on? Maybe become the Rashtrapati or do something else.
I personally think that there is nobody to match his skill and ability, even today. Even the kind of transparency he has shown. There is not a single scandal which has hit this government, in the last 10 years, which is a great record. So personally, I would wish that he will continue, but he can think. That is what I'm saying.
All right.
Personally, I'm of the opinion that he should continue because there is no alternative available even now.
Okay, fair enough. But that's an important distinction that you make, that in your personal opinion, he should continue, but you do think that it's entirely possible for the Prime Minister to apply the very rule.
He can, because
he can.
Okay. He can.
Okay. Uday bhai, always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Bhupendraji. Thank you.